Welcome everybody to episode 1 of the Great Night podcast. I'm your host Rob, and with me I have my co-host Tyler.
Hello. Yes.
How are you feeling tonight?
I'm gonna level with you. This shot was more than I thought it was going to be.
For those of you listening, we've got a couple of shots poured tonight to start off episode 1 the right way. But I'm very excited. This is episode 1, so bear with us if the quality's not great. We're still trying to figure everything out. Our topics for tonight. We've got Fergie singing the national anthem. Some people think she didn't do such a great job. We're going to take a listen and find out for ourselves. A vlogger, Morgan Adams, got a Chipotle tattoo, which is interesting. And we're going to talk about some of Tyler's interesting tattoos he has. Flat Earth Society, because I spent too much time on Facebook the other day, and I went down a very deep rabbit hole. The Black Panther movie, Justin Timberlake's new album, Konami selling save slots in the new Metal Gear Survive game, and a feminism book that Tyler read.
Hello.
So this should be fun. This is going to be a fun episode. And thank you all for joining us on episode 1 of the Great Night podcast. We're going to do a toast. Cheers.
Hey.
Here's to a great night.
Yep.
Wasn't too bad, right?
Yep.
You good?
That was fantastic.
All right. So, all right, let's just start off with Fergie and the national anthem. Oh boy! All right, yeah, that shot's kicking in.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I just feel like I ate all the big red gum that ever was.
Here, use this pillow to wipe off the watermark on there. Here, just use it as a sponge. Sorry, we got a stain on the table. I'm sure that's a great sound for the mic. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Let's get to Fergie. We got a little bit distracted.
Wow.
Perform the Star-Spangled Banner is an acclaimed singer, songwriter, actress, and 8-time Grammy Award winner from Hacienda Heights, California, Fergie.
Have you seen some of the faces during this?
What do you mean?
That the crowd makes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone just looks in distress.
Yeah.
Like none of these people can leave. I think who was it? Anthony Anderson, I believe. They show him and he looks terrified.
I love wait till they get the Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, Chance looks like he's having the best day of his life.
I think eventually they all start laughing.
Yeah, Chance the Rapper is my favorite person. It's sheer terror, like I've never seen. It's like she was... The best way I could describe it is like she was trying to be Ella Fitzgerald.
It's just like
but there's only one Ella Fitzgerald.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just a bad version of the national anthem. Her voice sounds good.
No,
Yeah.
But she could have pulled it off if she was Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Because if she sang it like this, I would have been in tears. But you gotta understand, sometimes you're not Ella Fitzgerald. I have to tell myself that every single day. I go, you know what? I think I can be. I go outside and very quickly realize I can't.
They're like, the crowd is like laughing now. Everybody's smiling. She looks so confident. Like,
she does. Someone I work with described it essentially, it's like when you get drunk and you do karaoke and you think you're fantastic.
Yeah.
You're just not fantastic.
That sounds about right.
Let's play some basketball!
Just in case you guys aren't sure what we're here for.
Alright, so yeah, that was interesting. I'm not saying she did a bad job. She just didn't do
the
best job. Yeah.
Yeah, but again,
I mean, the national anthem, it's one of those things where, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
My thing with the national anthem is, I feel like it should be like a talent show at a school where you have a preliminary. You're like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Check and see if it's all right.
Yeah.
because if somebody just saw that before the game was like, hey, don't do it like that, just sing it like a human being, she would have just sang it like a human being, perhaps.
Yeah, like if it was like an American Idol audition.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, maybe you shouldn't do it that way.
Yeah, just please don't. I'm physically uncomfortable. Why don't you just sing this like a human? Please.
Yeah. I mean, Fergie sounds good, but like, if you ask me, that was just a little bit 2000 and late, you know?
No. No, sorry.
You're not gonna. All right. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. She did. You know, basically what Fergie would do, sing the national anthem. She stayed 2 in character, I think.
Yeah, it was. I've heard better.
Yeah, I agree. Next, I want to talk about this vlogger who got this Chipotle tattoo on her inner lip, mind you. Not just anywhere. She got a Chipotle tattoo on her inner lip, which I mean is one. It's
not the worst.
Yeah.
Because that goes away after a few years.
Yeah, and like at least nobody can see it. Like you don't need to hide it.
That is a face of regret immediately. That's when you go, oh, this was a good idea before it really happened in real life.
Yeah. I saw this and I don't know. It kind of spoke out to me. I feel like I needed to talk about it just because somebody's like so dedicated to a food chain. You're gonna get that. I don't know if she got it like on her lip intentionally, like as like to be ironic because she's eating like Chipotle.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like maybe she was planning on getting it on her leg. It just ended up there.
No. But yeah, I don't know. It's just of all the places to get a Chipotle tattoo, I guess on your inner lip, it's not the worst place you can get it.
It is arguably the best if you're going to get a silly tattoo.
Yeah. I mean,
it's arguably the best.
Yeah. I've like my tattoos, I don't really have any interesting tattoos. Like I've got, I would say probably the only somewhat funny tattoo I have is the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas cheat code tattooed on me, and that's pretty much the only thing that ever gets like a laugh or a chuckle out of anybody. But I know you've got some winners, so let's talk about about your tattoos. First of all, show your chest because that's the easiest one.
Yeah, I guess
you can just pull that down.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So
I don't know if anybody can see this, but we'll show it later.
I'll put a picture up on the thing. But Tyler has I'm in there like swimwear tattooed on his chest. So why don't you go ahead and explain how that came about?
I think I was in the 10th grade. I remember it was summertime and I was living in Delaware at the time. We were going to swim at some pool.
Yeah.
The guy I was with was like, "Let's do this." I'm in there like swimwear. And I was so taken back by it because I'd never heard that phrase before my whole entire life. I think I laughed for like almost 10 uninterrupted moments. But it was one of those things where I remember it being one of the funnier things I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. And then I turned 16, was like, you know what, I'm gonna go get a tattoo. I think I know what I'm gonna get.
Nice. So you decided to get tattooed on your chest. That was your go-to.
I don't know why I decided my chest. It just seemed the best place for writing at the time.
Well, you could have gotten it on your lip, but that would have been a lot of words.
Yeah, but then it'd be gone by now.
Yeah, well, that might not have been the worst thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't necessarily mind it. Maybe one day I will, but it's all right.
All right, and then you have one more interesting tattoo on your bicep. Are you able to? This is all just one big ploy for me to get you to take your clothes off.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing every time I come over.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and strip down and show off your sick bicep tattoo? Go ahead. First of all, describe it for us. So for the people who are listening.
Well, it's 2 pieces of bread boxing. A not equal sign, a parallelogram, a marijuana plant, and it says, "Come over here, sweetie."
All right.
Essentially, the idea behind this was I was gonna take a bunch of phrases from someone I knew in high school who had passed, and just take a bunch of phrases that they said that I thought were funny and put them in symbols, so I just won't have a bunch of writing on my arm, and try and convey that with as few words as possible.
That's a great way to honor somebody. Through so many strange memories, I guess. I mean, it's all inside jokes, but still. For those of you who are listening, if you want to look at the tattoo, it's going to be posted on our Instagram page at Great Night Pod. So go ahead and check that out. I'll put it up on there along with his I'm in there like swimwear tattoo.
Yeah, the other 2 aren't. They're just dumb why I got them. They're not dumb, really.
Yeah. You have 2 other ones? I thought you had...
I have the one on my foot
Oh, okay.
The one that
you got a lightning bolt on your foot.
Yeah, that kind of also looks like I've heard a penis and the SS symbol that frequently used in Nazi Germany. So
those are two.
Yeah, I got that done with a sewing needle and tattoo ink. The other one was the only professionally done tattoo I ever got, but I just got it because it was cheap.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah, somebody went, hey, $40 tattoos, you want to get a cat on your leg forever? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, none of my tattoos are really like, I mean, I've got like a Bioshock Infinite tattoo, I've got a Stranger Things tattoo, I've got a Blink-182 tattoo, but like none of mine really have like good stories behind them like yours. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, I wanted this.
Yeah. I don't put a lot of thought into important stuff I do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I guess you're right.
But thank you for sharing your tattoos with us.
I do what I can.
Like I said, if you guys want to take a look at those tattoos, please go to our Instagram page at Great Night Pod, and you'll be able to take a look at them for those of you who are listening. Next up, I want to talk about Flat Earth Society, because boy oh boy did I stumble down a very deep rabbit hole on Facebook the other day. Tyler, are you familiar with Flat Earth Society?
Vaguely. All I know is they just think the Earth is flat.
Yeah, that pretty much, I mean, that sums them up. I understand conspiracy theories and everything, but I don't know if I can get behind, the Earth being flat. Like, I'm a pretty open-minded person. Like, I'm willing to, okay, sure, you want to talk about other conspiracy theories, I'll give you a listen, but I'm not sure if I can really, understand the Earth being flat. I feel like the evidence is too overwhelming. But I saw this video on Facebook. Basically, this guy was trying to prove that, the Earth is round. It's a page called What If. You can check them out. And he basically made a video like, what if the Earth was flat? But then he went to prove that the Earth is round and it's not flat. The video was very entertaining. I definitely recommend checking out the page What If. But what was entertaining for me was reading through some of these comments of people who are trying to argue that this guy's wrong and the Earth actually is flat. This is Facebook, real life human beings, keep in mind. These are the top comments, okay? This one has over 1.4 thousand likes, I guess, because people thought it was funny. This one, I'm not sure if it's sarcastic or not. It might be. He used an awful lot of emojis, but I want to share this with you, Tyler. There are no satellites flying in outer space. There are thousands of antennas planted. Gravity does not exist. It's a lie. Your weight holds you down? Why can bees fly? If gravity is so tough it can hold massive water oceans, then how is it so weak to allow a bee fly? There are no real pics of the Earth unless computer created. The bozo who made this video clearly is brainwashed or knowing the truth and paid lots of money to lie. So this guy's Facebook page is basically saying the government paid him off.
I'm going to say if there has to be videos where you have to explain to people that the Earth isn't flat, I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, because he's trying to say, there aren't satellites, because the guy basically says, look, satellites wouldn't be able to orbit the planet, and this guy's saying, nope, there are no satellites. Those things you see blinking in the sky, not satellites, we got antennas.
But they are.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it other than nuh-uh.
Okay, so, I got more comments for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Here's another one. LOL, your quote-unquote evidence of a curve is a fisheye lens? Haha. Now that's laughable. Why do you think Flat Earth is so popular and not going away? It's because it's true. This video is a lie. They're using, I like how they put this in quotes by the way, quote-unquote gravity and quote-unquote space to disprove the flat Earth when both of those don't exist. Gravity has never even been scientifically proven to this day. It's just density and buoyancy, and stars are just lights in the dome. Now, pause real quick. Now this guy, he's not only saying that gravity doesn't exist, he's saying we're living in a dome, like the Simpsons movie. Earth is just a big dome.
I think gravity has been proven to exist, because I took a physics class, and I think in order to do any equation related to physics, you have to account for gravity.
Yeah. But the comment continues. Ever wonder how a rainbow is created? Yeah, light reflecting off the dome. You can even make one inside, but you need a mirror to act as the dome. Earth is flat and we've been lied to our whole life.
This woman makes rainbows in her house. You've lost all validity.
Oh my
Your
god.
entire day consisting of you making rainbows with a mirror in your house. You don't have it going on. You're not a valid source.
Hey man, look, she's just saying we're all just living in a dome, and this whole gravity and space thing, that's just the government trying to keep us in, man.
That sounds like actual lines of dialogue from like Dazed and Confused. Like Matthew McConaughey would have said.
All right, there's more.
Ah, good.
This one takes a turn for religion. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
here we go.
Gravity is not forming a planet. Our Earth is created by the Creator, and there are none planets above it. It's only stars. Read Bible.
Yeah. That's a comment I can get behind.
Yeah,
Read Bible.
Like, I mean, I'm religious, and you're making me look bad, is basically what I'm getting at here. This is
Yeah.
why people look at religious people as, like, nut jobs, because I'm going to read this comment again. Gravity is not forming a planet, ! Our Earth is created by the Creator, ! And there are none planets above. It is only stars, ! Read Bible. Read Bible. I like how that's a tagline again.
Bible.
Read Bible. So if you take anything
Does it
home...
even talk about flat Earth? Does Bible even talk about
I don't know. I don't
Earth
think that's...
being flat?
No, I don't think that's in the Bible.
I don't think they get into that.
I didn't read it, but I don't know. We'll have to Spark Notes that one.
Yeah, this is a rabbit hole for certain.
Okay, this is probably my favorite one, and then I got one more after this, but this one I just can't. I gotta read it. Besides math, okay, so
Yeah, we're on a good start.
Side note, she's saying, okay, yeah, math. Put that to the side, real quick, okay. Put all that to the side, okay. I'm gonna read this whole comment now. Besides math, can anybody here prove that the Earth is round? Has anybody ever left the atmosphere themselves? I'm just saying, we don't truly know. People just go off of what our government says, and we believe it. People are even convinced that transgenders are actually women and refer to them as such. Now, pause real quick. Why did you have to bring transgenders into this? They didn't do anything. You're going to bring them into a flat Earth discussion?
They're from another planet, man. Not that exists, but...
Yeah, I guess that's a good...
The only valid argument this person has put up, but if you preface any decent argument with, besides math,
yeah,
you've already lost me, but...
We're not done yet.
There's a
more.
solid argument relatively, I guess, because, I've never been outside of the planet.
Just listen to the rest of it.
So I don't get my passport till Wednesday.
People believe any and everything the government says. We can be living of a huge square or hexagon. Just something to think about. I'm more into believing things with my own eyes, not what everybody else says and agrees with. So this person's saying, look, you got your math, you got your science, yes, so what? But have you been to space? Have you seen Earth through your own eyes?
That is a valid point, I guess. Kind of. Like,
But
I've never been outside of the planet.
They might have had an
but
argument.
I'm still convinced it's shaped like a sphere.
I mean, okay, yeah, but, like, why'd you bring transgenders into it? Like, people...
I mean...
Like, I don't know.
It's just one of the things we believe, man. Transgenders is just a philosophy. Like flat Earth. And
Jesus. You
Christmas.
need help.
These are all ideas.
All right, so I've got my own conspiracy theory, and I want you to, maybe you can get in on this with me. All right.
Consider it.
I think oxygen is fake.
I know that it is.
Oxygen, I can't see it. Whatever math and science says, I don't care.
Yeah. Have you ever seen oxygen?
I've never seen oxygen. You show me oxygen, and I'll believe it.
Yeah. You give me a plant, and you wring out some oxygen into a glass and bring it to my house. I'll believe your oxygen theory.
I'm telling you, man, oxygen, it's the government trying to keep us out of space. They're trying to say you go up there, you suffocate. I don't believe it, man.
Yeah, they're trying to tell us what to do with our diaphragms.
Yeah.
And I've had it, quite frankly.
All right, I have one more. This one, I think the reason why I picked this one is just so grammatically bad. On the presumption Earth is a spinning globe, what holds the water to the
A
Earth?
globe's an object.
Since a spinning ball throws most of the water away from the spinning ball? ? I don't even understand.
I think what he's
He's
saying is that the Earth is spinning, so why doesn't the water just splash out? Like if you were to rotate a glass and it would just start coming out of above the rim. That's what I'm taking from it. I think they're assuming that we would just splash water into space.
Yeah. You think that's a possibility?
Wouldn't the waves be a little bit of a mess?
Probably.
Wouldn't the ocean look incredibly worse if you could visibly see waves leaving our atmosphere and going into space?
I mean, like, that's proof that the Earth is flat because we don't see that. So if the Earth was spinning, we wouldn't have water. It would have been lost.
So it's like if you spun like a map on this table.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. There's pictures online. I'll have to show you after the show. I should have brought some up for you to see. But
I gotta tell you, I'm not completely convinced.
But
believe it or not.
Do you know how this? So I did some research. I went pretty deep into this. You know how this flat Earth conspiracy started?
No.
Apparently, it was a bunch of people just spreading the rumor online as a joke, trying to see how many people they could get to believe the Earth is flat. And now it's an actual conspiracy. It's I don't know if you're familiar with Slender Man.
Yeah.
But that started on the internet. That was people just saying, "Hey, can we make a horror character and have people believe it?" And then they did, and there are some people out there who genuinely believe in Slender Man, or at least are scared of him. And I'm saying flat Earth is the Slender Man of conspiracy theories. It was spread on the internet, but I think it's actually worse because people actually believe it.
My thing is is it double-sided flat? Would some continents be on the top, and then if you flipped it over, there would be others?
No, I think it's just.
Or do you just?
I think it's one big circle, and they're trying to say that Antarctica is a big ice wall around it. You want me to show you a picture of flat Earth?
I'm kind of curious because
right.
I don't fully understand what exactly flat Earth would look like. Because you can, if I were to fly to China, I could fly in any direction that I wanted.
I already know that when this podcast is over, you're going to spend way too much time looking up flat Earth. Here, I'll put
if
this.
I become a believer, I'm going to be devastated.
So this is what they're saying about flat Earth, pretty much.
So it's shaped like a circle. I thought it was shaped like a map.
No, it's pretty much like a circle. I'll put that up on the video for those of you who are watching. But most of you who have heard of flat Earth have probably seen some maps. Tyler hasn't, which is a surprise to me.
I haven't been too into the idea of flat Earth. Yeah, I've got other stuff going on. All right, we'll end that topic on that note. We got some other topics here. A Black Panther movie. Let's talk about that because you and we saw that in theaters together. What did you think of it? It was good, but it was wasted potential. Yeah, I've said it time and time again. The movie itself, I did not like the first hour of it, but when it got to the point this is actually what the movie is about. This is the point we're trying to hammer home. Pretty much from the time Michael B. Jordan comes in. Yeah. And starts becoming a pivotal character in the story and not just showing up here and there. Yeah. It's phenomenal. Yeah. From that point, when they go, hey, this is why we made the movie. This is the point we're trying to drive home. I was blown away. I was like, man, this movie is incredible. I really, really hated it up until this point, but it's fantastic now. Yeah. I liked it a lot. I think that the action scenes were really well done. They definitely threw a lot of curveballs. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm sure you can think of at least a couple in the action scenes that were really solid. And just the whole environment of that movie and where it exists and where it takes place is just visually stunning from a cinematic perspective. It just you said it I think it has a lot of room for improvement. Yeah, wasted potential, but still worth seeing. Oh, definitely worth seeing. But yeah, my other thing is I was talking with a friend of mine, who also saw it with us, Darius. We were talking about how, in the grander scope of things, the movie doesn't really step out of its setting for the most part. Yeah. And it really could have done a lot more if, when things started to get real again, I'm not going to spoil anything, they took it to a broader scope. Yeah. But they were like, you know what, we just want to make this movie, develop this character, not change the universe because we've got to make Infinity War. So it felt like it could have done more, and it didn't. Yeah. And it was wasted acting potential. Yeah. I had a lot of really good named actors that just were serviceable. Yeah, I think that a lot of that was to just draw people into the movies. Yeah. Because I've been there with movies. I think there was some movie or something called The Circle with Emma Watson. Yeah. Emma Watson and Tom Hanks. I didn't even look at a trailer. I'm like, okay, these two are in the same movie. I'm sold. I went and saw it. It was a bad movie. Aside from Tom Hanks being in it and Emma Watson, there's nothing good about that film. But the thing about... I can't remember most of the actors, but I know Daniel Kaluuya, who was in Get Out, is nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker. They weren't super announced. It was pretty much only Michael B. Jordan that was announced. I love Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, he did
I
a
didn't
great
know
job.
the other people were going to be in it. They were just kind of an added surprise. I was like, awesome, these guys are in it.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember her name, the actress that plays, I believe, Michonne in The Walking Dead, who's also very, very good. But everyone's just kind of serviceable, other than Michael B. Jordan, who knocks it right out of the park. Oh my God, he was fantastic.
Yeah, he did a great job. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, who's definitely listening to this.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for Black Panther.
Yeah. But it was a solid film. It just needed improvement.
Yeah, it's really, really not my favorite Marvel movie, though.
Yeah.
Definitely. Infinity War is going to beat it. Were you going to ask what's my favorite?
Yeah, what's your favorite Marvel movie?
Ooh, Homecoming is up there. The first Avengers.
Mine's Toy Story.
You say Marvel movie.
I'm just kidding.
Civil War.
Civil War,
Yes.
you think?
I think Civil War.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Because that was the closest I got to Infinity War before Infinity War becomes my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah. When is that coming out?
Oh, God, that's like May 5th.
All right, everybody. Well, this podcast is sponsored by Infinity War. Make sure you check it out May 5th.
Yeah, or if I got it wrong,
Some
I
other
know it's
date.
in May.
Some other date. Sometime in May. They didn't pay us a whole lot to sponsor this.
Yeah, so we didn't do our research. But I'm pretty sure May 5th. Oh my God, that movie.
Yeah, that film. Yeah, Black Panther's a solid film.
Yeah, it's. My problem is the amount of hype that it's getting, and I don't think it's as good as the hype would lead you to believe.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are going to be disappointed.
Yeah, possibly, but I think a lot of people who were hyped up for that film are gonna love it, like, regardless. Like, I'm hyped up for The Last of Us 2, so I might just, like, I know this is a terrible, terrible comparison, but I don't know why it's the first thing that came to my head. The Last of Us 2, great. The Last of Us is a great video game. I'm very excited for The Last of Us 2, and I don't see that, like, becoming a disappointment to me, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Black Panther.
But I don't know, Black Panther, I was excited just as a Marvel movie, and again, I liked Civil War so much, and I liked Black Panther in Civil War, so I was very excited for his movie, and it was still good.
Yeah.
It's just, the problem is, if it was just a standard Marvel movie with no point, I might have liked it more, but when you add, like, this narrative that's so... it had such a good point to make, and I feel like it didn't hammer it all the way home, is my problem.
What do you think that point was?
It was just, for me at least, it was just pretty much a unification of a group fighting for a common goal.
Yeah.
Like, Michael B. Jordan and I can't remember the actor that plays Black Panther. I'm just going to call him Black Panther.
Oh my God. I can't remember him either, so this is terrible.
They're going about the same thing, but in two different ways. They're like two ends of the same spectrum. And it is beautiful because neither one's wrong, neither one's right. I agree and disagree with both of them.
Yeah. And
it's also, if you have this power, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Like, is it selfish or is it not? I don't want to spoil it. It's good. I can't explain the point without sort of going into the plot, and I don't want to go into the plot.
That's fine. We'll wrap it up at that. Yeah, that was I enjoyed my time seeing that film. But next topic is Justin Timberlake's new album, which I saw it in stores and I wasn't really interested in it. And then, like, as soon as I brought this podcast up to you, you're like, the first topic, like, I don't even think I, like, got the entire idea of the podcast out. You're like, okay, we need to talk about Justin Timberlake's new album.
Yeah, we do.
So I bought it. I listened to it. And I can honestly say there's maybe, like, two tracks on the album that, like, I genuinely love, like, my two favorite tracks, and then the rest is just kind of like, like, I don't know, it's not like, it's not bad, it's just, it's not like, it's not something I would, like, listen to on repeat in my car. There's, like, it's one of those CDs I feel like where, like, okay, I want to listen to track 7 and track 8, or track 8 and track 9, and then just play those back to back. What did you think of the album?
I bought it the 14th when I believe it came out.
Yeah.
It's been in my car playing on repeats since the 14th of February.
Gotcha.
What is the date today? Like the 27th?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for about 2 consecutive weeks, this is all I've been listening to.
Maybe I need to give it, like, just keep listening to it. Is it, like, something that grows on you?
I guess. For me, it was kind of immediate. Like, I was kind of like you. I had my set tracks.
Yeah.
And I didn't deviate from them. And then occasionally I'll be driving with someone where I'm not like trying to just blast and sing my favorite songs while I drive place to place. I'm just kind of listening to the album, talking with whoever I'm driving around. So you just listen to it, and it's got every song has its moment where it's like, this is very, very good.
Yeah.
This stands out from every other song.
See, like, I don't want to compare it to this, but like, I went into it with like, I had the bar set high for this album. Like, I was like thinking like 2020 Experience, because like that's that's my favorite JT album.
Yeah.
And like there's just like so many songs in that album that like I love, that I could play, like, you know, just have playing through the car like you do with Man in the Woods. Man of the Woods, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Man of the Woods.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, like the way my fiance Britt described it, she's like, it's good, it just doesn't like sound like something JT would make.
That's, I think the thing. Well, no, it sounds like some of his earlier stuff before 2020 Experience, where it was a bit poppier and funkier, for lack of a better way to put it. It wasn't as, I guess, 2020 Experience was a bit towards the more, I guess, classical-esque side.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, more wind instruments. There's a lot more, like, bass and guitars and drums. And then, you know, your electronic beats over top. But it was very experimental, which I also appreciated because he tried something. And it, for me, it worked.
Well, that's kind of like, the best comparison I could think of that is like Childish Gambino when he made, when he dropped his like most recent album. It was like really like funk and everything. And I was expecting something like, you know, him to have songs that are like really like hardcore, like Sweatpants or Crawl, and like some of his older songs. But it's just like that album, that's an album you need to listen to if you're going to listen to an album, is Childish Gambino's most recent one. I think it's called, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but it's one of my favorites of his album. But
I don't honestly listen to that much Childish Gambino at all.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you have something that you need to listen to now.
On a separate sort of music related note, Snoop Dogg has a gospel album coming out. And
does he?
Yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to look into. He's got one song out. I can't remember what it's called, but he's got a song with a music video. It takes place only in a church, and it's gospel, and it's Snoop Dogg. And well, I don't think I need to say anything else. I think you're already sold.
Where do I sign up?
YouTube.
YouTube.com.
Go on
YouTube.com.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I like the album. I also have an interesting story with this album, a bit of a conspiracy theory, if you will.
Oh, really?
In the spirit of Flat Earth.
Is it about Oxygen?
It's about Oxygen and JT's album.
Okay.
See, I went to buy the album the day it came out. I took it off the shelf. I give it to the cashier. He goes, "Oh, you're buying JT's album? Just the entertainment for today." He's all excited. He's moving his hands. He's dancing around. I'm having a good time at this register. We noticed later, I didn't realize it until later when my girlfriend had mentioned it to me. He had his hand under the register for a brief amount of time.
Really?
Yeah. Hang on. Because the story gets deeper. By the time I brought it to my car, the screen was cracked. I opened it up. Keep in mind, it's brand new. It's like I have to take it out of the package and everything. I open it. The case breaks in half.
Oh my god.
And it plays fine for the whole day. So I'm like, whatever. Maybe something happened. But I don't know. Maybe he did something. I don't know. It starts to skip a little bit on the 15th out of 16th track. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, this guy definitely did something to this album. What we're thinking is they got a broken one when they got them delivered. Yeah. And they, like, I'm going to put this under the register. We're not going to put it on the shelves because it's clearly broken. I think he swapped it out, and since they were going to throw it out, he might have taken my copy. Really? Yeah, so I have to go to Target, ask for a man with a cheerful disposition, loves JT. Because I checked the receipt, and I couldn't find, like, a name, like, this person checked you out or anything. Yeah. So
he probably left the country by now.
Yeah, my man's got my Man of the Woods copy. I mean, it seems to work fine now, so like I'm not too upset about it. I don't even want my money back. I just want to know why.
What is like?
Curious.
Do you think it belonged to the store, or do you think it was his own personal copy of Man of the Woods?
I don't know, because I got it day of. I don't know if you could like get it in advance. I might have come late, but I thought it was coming out the 14th, so I picked it up on Valentine's Day. Yeah. And I don't know. I wasn't sure if like maybe a shipping mishap and they just had a broken copy that was broken during shipping.
But that happens all the time. Like you shouldn't. I don't understand why he would like. It's not like if you got a shipment of broken CDs in, you'd be like, oh crap, like we gotta sell these to customers. We gotta get rid of them. It's mostly like you just write that kind of stuff off.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm thinking. I think they were gonna get rid of it anyway.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, since they're gonna get rid of it anyway, I'm just gonna get rid of.
He's just gonna be a butthole. and screw
he's
you
just
over.
gonna give me a broken copy, and then instead of throwing it out, he's just gonna keep my fixed
Oh
copy
my
of Man of the
God.
Woods. Is what I'm thinking.
So you've got your own conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I just want to kind of find that guy and just ask him why.
Why'd he do
or
it?
if he did it, because it's
Maybe he's
slightly
listening.
possible.
Maybe he knows we're on to him.
Listen, my man from Target. If I just want to know why. I'm not even mad. Like, the album works fine. I just want to know. That's all.
Yeah, what was your motive?
It's just, yeah, like, it didn't cost that much. It was maybe $11-12. It wasn't a whole lot to buy it.
I think I spent like $10 on mine.
Yeah, and, like, the other thing, it's just, I feel like I would have noticed.
Yeah.
Because it was in terrible condition. Bad enough that when I opened it, it broke in half. I would have noticed holding it or looking at it. This album's broken.
Maybe it's just really breakable, like, because, like, okay, so I sat on my copy and it cracked.
That relatable premise. Go
so,
on.
So I left my copy on the couch, and I was getting ready to, because I had listened to it in my room, and I was getting ready to transition it into my car to listen to it, and I forget what I was doing, but somehow I sat on it and I cracked it. But the CD works fine. So maybe they just did a really good, like, or really bad job at, like, making those albums.
One moment, please.
Okay.
Because also when he put it in the bag, he grabbed the handles and, like, wrapped it around the CD before he gave it to me. I forgot to mention
that's the
that
selling
part.
point.
That also happened. It was just a lot of, why did he do this?
Gotcha.
Things leading up to me finding my broken CD that just kind of led to it. It was strange. It might not even be anything. I might have just accidentally bought a broken copy of Man of the Woods, and it might have nothing to do with this man.
Just like how the Earth might actually be round.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Yeah.
The Earth might be round. This guy might have did nothing to my CD. You see, it all comes full circle, like the Earth does, because it's not flat.
Oh God. Yeah, that's great. I hope that you just made a poor mistake and that guy didn't screw you
I might
over.
be judging this person's character unfairly.
Yeah.
And if I am, I apologize.
But another topic I want to talk to you about, I want to talk about Konami. They recently
yes.
have you seen or heard anything about the new Metal Gear Survive?
Oh, you bet your sweet ass I
Yeah.
have.
Oh my God, I watched like a couple reviews of it and it looks awful. It looks like the worst cash grab Konami could have made. Like,
yeah, Konami just decided we don't want any fans anymore.
yeah, they said, hey, Hideo Kojima's gone. Like, let's make as much money as we can before this place goes under.
Yeah, that's essentially what it feels like they're doing. And they decided instead of trying to keep themselves afloat, they're just going to sink themselves even more. Like, instead of like, hey, I think I can tread these waters for a few years, they went, you know what, let's just dive all the way to the bottom of the ocean and just wait for death.
They didn't even, they weren't even like trying to keep their heads above water.
No, not at all.
They're selling saved slots. Like, to start a new saved game,
Wasn't
know
it
how much
like
it costs?
$10?
$10.
Yeah.
Not like one. I mean, not to say that it would be better. Like, the fact that you're even selling save slots at all is ridiculous. But like $1, $2, like, I'd be less mad. But
I'd still be mad.
But $10 for a second save slot, and it's like a zombie survival game. Like, and it has hunger and the thirst, and it's just one big hot mess. And like, if you want to start a new character, if your character is starving and you're dying of thirst, and you're like, you know what, like, let me try something else. Like, good luck. Like, either delete that save and start over, or pay $10 for another save.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was the most EA thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was worse than EA.
Yeah, I mean, like, microtransactions are bad enough as it is, and they're just making them worse. It's like almost like a joke. Like, I expected it to be like an April Fool's joke or something. Like, I understand microtransactions in like Overwatch. You get cosmetics. It's not like, doesn't really matter as like far as gameplay is concerned. Or like PUBG, you can buy crates that you can have new outfits and stuff for your character. But to sell, like, selling in-game content, selling weapons, selling whatever abilities, all that stuff Battlefront 2 was doing. And then Konami just says, oh, you want to sell weapons? Hold my beer. And they sell save slots.
Yeah, a lot of bigger companies, which is weird because it's normally the bigger companies that have more than enough money already decide to, hey, you bought our game, let's just wring you dry, mister or missus.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you're going to pay for every single aspect of this game we have ready to go when the game came out. We just don't feel like giving it to you. That's my thing. Like, all the stuff that you can buy is sitting ready for you, ready to go.
Yeah.
They just don't want to give it to you because they know they can get more money. It's essentially selling, what? If you buy even one save slot, you've paid $70 for this game when it costs $60.
Yeah, it's just, and it's not even like something worth spending money on. Like there's right ways to do microtransactions and there's wrong ways to do microtransactions. Like Grand Theft Auto, they sell shark cards. So if you don't feel like leveling up in GTA Online and you want to be able to just jump in a tank and kill whoever, or you want a plane, you can dig into your mom's purse and you can pull a couple $100 out and spend like real life money on GTA money. And that's fine. I mean, whatever. But save slots, I mean, if you're going to draw the line, I thought it was already drawn, but apparently not. I don't know what's going to be next. What's next?
They're going to buy the game. You're only going to get the title screen.
Yeah.
When you hit start new game, you're going to have to pay for it. I think.
Oh my God. Every part of the game is going to cost more money.
Yeah.
And they're going to start
to see how this game ends?
Oh my God. I don't know. I'm kind of broke. Oh man.
I can only afford the beginning and the end. Wonder what happened in the middle.
Skip all the middle parts.
How did we get to this point?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, do you have anything else to say about that other than the game isn't even that good. Like, if it's a good game, okay, maybe we'll work with you.
The main thing with microtransactions, unfortunately, the reason they keep happening and they keep getting pushed to these extremes because they keep working.
Yeah.
Like, if people keep spending money on microtransactions, big companies are going to keep thinking, oh, we can just keep on doing this.
Yeah.
Because they're not financially giving us a reason to stop, so it's up to you, the people. I'm looking right at you.
Yeah. And
stop getting into microtransactions, I'm begging you.
And for those of you who are listening, we're looking deep into your earlobes.
Yeah, I think there's some governments that are trying to, like, completely make it illegal. Since it's technically gambling.
Yeah. For like
yeah, it's gambling for children, essentially. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's loopholes around it.
Oh, yeah. That's probably why any bill hasn't been passed. But, yeah, I think there were some governments lobbying to get rid of them altogether.
Yeah. Because
sort of illegal.
The government has more important stuff to worry about, though, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, they're like, okay, yeah, gun control and all that, whatever. People are paying for save slots. That's what they're really all about.
They got a lot of stuff on their plate, and they're not trying to hit the main course at any time soon. They're only focused on sides at this point.
Oh my God! All right, well,
God bless America.
God bless America. And on that note, let's talk about this book you just read, Tyler.
I did.
What was the title of this book?
You don't
even remember? Please tell me.
Remember the title of the book.
How long ago was this?
It's like a week ago. But
okay.
I read it because I was helping my girlfriend do homework.
Okay.
She has a class around just gender relations, things of that nature,
Gotcha.
Gender studies, and the what have you.
Uh-huh.
So she read this book. It's 50 double standards towards women, which is basically like if a man does the same thing a woman does, they're viewed two different ways.
Yeah.
Like, if a man spends a lot of his time dedicating his time to his woman, he's a great boyfriend.
Yeah.
But however, the girlfriend is viewed, oh, this guy's whipped.
Yeah.
She's not letting him hang out with his friends. This man might just want to hang out with his girlfriend.
Right.
But all of his friends are going to go, oh, he's whipped.
Yeah.
She's not letting him. Which is unfair.
Yeah, there's a lot of double standards out there.
Yeah, they cover 50. The book was also made in 2008.
Okay.
I remember because they made a Pussycat Dolls reference, I immediately had to look up the publication date. I was like, well, this isn't right.
A little bit out of date.
Yeah, they talk about some politicians like Condoleezza Rice.
Okay.
And just some older, it's not as current, some of the references that it makes is what I'm trying to say. And some of the points, it makes you realize, while the feminist movement isn't, let's not pretend that there's not still a movement going on, but I feel like we've made progress since 2008. I can read that book and safely say some of these things either aren't true or aren't dialed up to the degree that this book makes it seem.
Yeah, you think we've moved forward since then?
I'd say so, because know too much about the feminist movement because 10 years ago I was, 13?
Yeah.
So I didn't have a care in the world.
What made you want to read this book?
It was just sitting on her desk. I picked it up and I was like, let's just see what this has to say, because I had this unfair bias, I'm going to be completely honest. When I saw a feminist book, I thought it was just going to be men suck, here's why.
Yeah.
Which is unfair to think about the feminist movement, but that was the notion I came in with.
Uh-huh.
While it's not completely deviating from that, it does kind of say, hey, men aren't as good. They do this, they do that, and they make it seem like all men have this one-track mind.
Well, I mean, come on, let's be honest.
I will say, I think Dave Chappelle, in one of his recent Netflix comedy specials, says, like, we all have women in our lives that we want to see succeed in the real world.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
I have a sister, I have a mom, I have aunts, I have cousins. Like, I'd like to see them succeed and be treated the same as me.
Exactly, yeah.
So, like, they just kind of take it and just say, oh, all men think this way. But then kind of it's a double standard, if you will. They're like, oh, all men think this, when it's not true about all women. So, like, why is it true about all men? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It had some interesting points, but I feel like they could have been addressed better.
Yeah. So, yeah, you'll have to remember the title of that so I can.
Yeah, I
so
will
can
for the
into
next
it.
podcast.
Yeah, bring it up next time, because that's it sounds like something worth reading, even especially from like a guy's perspective, because I feel like there are very few men out there who read those books. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, that'd be an interesting read. Like, as a guy, like, I understand the whole feminism movement. There are some guys out there who, you know, represent men in the worst way possible. And I can get how, you know, women want to rebel against that. So that's, you know, it is what it is. But I would love to see, like, a lot of the, you know, the points and whatever that book brings up. I can't remember the last time I read a book. Oh, you know what? I do. It was Travis Barker's biography.
Oh yeah, you read that when we went to California.
Yeah, that was a good book. But I don't really do much reading. I think that was probably like I could probably count how many books I've read like on two hands.
Almost all of them have pictures in my list. But also this book is presented in a way, because it's 50 double standards, or it's kind of like a list.
Yeah.
Almost like maybe 2 or 3 pages are spent on each point. So it's not like a continuing story where like you'll get hooked in. You can just, I'll read this first 5 points.
Yeah.
Pick it up, read some later. And I do feel like I'm diminishing the impact it made on, I guess, my view on the whole feminist movement by, I guess, not so much remembering the book, but I will bring in a number of the topics and actually the title of the book, and we could discuss it for the next podcast, because it did make some solid points, while also some points I feel like were embellished or were just a lot worse 10 years ago.
All right. Yeah, we
Just
can
aren't as true.
We can we'll definitely bring that up, and I'd love to see that, you know, book in person on camera.
We can.
If you have it, if you can find it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get it.
All right. Yeah. So that's interesting. You know what we could do? I was gonna save this for when we have a guest, but I guess, you know, we got a little bit of time to kill on the podcast here. So I don't know if you're familiar with the H3 podcast or not.
I am not.
But okay, so it's one of my favorite podcasts, and they're one of the inspirations on why I wanted to make this. And the reason I'm bringing this up is they have this great segment where they talk about ghost stories, and any guests they have that they bring on, they ask them, like, you know, like, do you have any ghost stories? And it's always an interesting story. And we've been friends for a while. I know you've told me a couple ghost stories you've had, but I think whoever's listening, they need to hear some of yours, because they're pretty great.
All right, I had 2. Again, these are my own my own personal stories. They're a bit more ridiculous, but I'm like 100% certain. One day, I remember I was coming from my kitchen. I had a plate of food.
Yeah.
And I have a light sort of in the middle of the staircase going up to the upstairs where I kind of resided. And I was walking, and it was kind of dark. I looked up, and I thought I saw, you know, when you dress like a ghost for Halloween, but you don't do a good job, and you just put a sheet over your head?
Yeah.
I'm relatively certain that was sitting at the top of my steps. So I freaked out, and I flipped on the lights, and there was nothing there.
Oh my god.
And the other one wasn't so much a ghost story. I just heard a lot of sounds that just came out of the back room where my brother used to live.
Yeah.
Before he moved out. And it just kind of sounded like clams. Like if you were to rub a bunch of clams together. And then if like two mummies were in some kind of domestic dispute, but they were mummies the whole time.
So your old house was haunted by clams and mummies.
Yeah, and sheet ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah. I heard like a lot of just low and it just kind of escalated, like two mummies were arguing, and then my walls just kind of sounded like they were made out of clams.
Oh my god.
Lively clams.
Your ghost stories are more comical than mine are. Mine are like...
Which would be my interpretation.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe... I don't know. Maybe you're just really tired. You imagine clams and mummies arguing. I've had some, like... I don't have, like, real... like ghost stories. I think like I've had a lot of like weird stuff happen in my life. When I was a kid, I was laying in bed next to my mom. Like I was like, I don't know, like 4 years old maybe. And at one point I just like sat up like out of like mid sleep, like just I was laying in bed sleeping. I think for whatever reason she had me out of my crib just laying next to her. I sat up, turned to her and said, "Your father loves you very much." And she looked at me and went, "Nah, get out of here," with that. Because, I mean, I imagine a small child saying that for out of context, completely out of the blue, is pretty creepy.
Yeah, you would have got a suplex that night.
I can't... That's one of the things, like, yeah, okay, I want kids eventually, but what if they do creepy shit like that?
Yeah, that's it for them, unfortunately.
That's the end of them. I don't know why my mom didn't kick me to the curb. But and then there was another time, like around the same age, right after my great grandmother had passed away, I was everybody was sitting in the living room like mourning her, and like I walked into her bedroom and like put on like one of her favorite hats she always used to wear, and like grabbed her old cane and like started walking down the hallway, and I just stood at the end of the hallway completely motionless, and everybody just kind of looked at me, and like I'm just standing there completely motionless dressed as my grandmother, and everybody freaked out.
I gotta say, after your great grandmother passed, I did the same thing.
Yeah. Did you?
And just for the viewers at home, great grandmother, was she a really good grandmother?
Oh yeah, she
or
was
your
great.
Grandmother's mom?
Oh, you're trying.
By definition.
You shut up.
Just for the viewers at home that might not know.
She was my great grandmother who was also a great person.
Well, there you go.
There you go. That's how.
She's a great grandmother.
She's not a great grandmother. She's a great grandmother who's great.
Great grandmother who's great.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
If I had a great grandmother who's great, then that would be my great grandmother.
Great grandmother.
Great.
Who's great. That's great.
That's
well,
great.
Look at us. We killed some time.
And then yeah, like sleep paralysis too. That's a thing I've been experiencing.
Aiden has a pretty interesting story about sleep paralysis if you want to wait to get him on, or I can tell you, but I don't remember all the specifics if you want to wait.
Oh, man. Well, now I want to know. You should have told me.
He had a very interesting story about sleep paralysis.
I want to hear it. Tell me. All right, so this is our friend Aiden. Tell me what Aiden experienced.
Again, if we have him on the show, he can elaborate on it, but the synopsis of the story is he woke up, it was Sunday, because I remember I worked with him Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So it was sometime late Sunday night. He woke up and he couldn't move.
Oh, my God.
But he heard a voice say, "Remember these numbers." Like, basically, remember these numbers or you're going to die.
Oh, my God.
And then just rattled off a list of numbers that he then repeated to me that morning. He was like, "This voice this morning told me to remember these numbers or I'm going to die." Something like that. And then rattled off a list of like 6 or 7 numbers in sequence.
Did he play the lottery?
No, I think he just tried really hard to remember those numbers all Sunday. It became a larger portion of his Sunday than the lottery.
Oh, my God. Was it like a real deep voice, or I guess we'll have to go into detail.
He didn't mention the voice. I don't remember the numbers, the sequence of numbers. I'm really glad he didn't say it to me.
Oh my God, I've
got a terrible memory.
Sleep paralysis. I will say this: it is absolutely terrifying when it's happening, but afterwards, like after everything is done and like it's the next day, you're like, well, now I've got a cool story to tell people.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting eaten by a bear.
It's kind of like getting eaten by a bear, you know.
It's no difference.
So let me tell you some of my sleep paralysis stories. So my very first experience with sleep paralysis if you don't know what sleep paralysis is and it happens to you, it is the worst thing because it literally feels like you're being possessed. So first of all, the psychological explanation of sleep paralysis is like you're stressed, you're sleeping in a new environment. There's multiple reasons why it's like your body is like half awake and half asleep. Like it's kind of like your body stays half awake when you're in a new environment to try and like stay aware in case of intruders, kind of like
bears.
Yeah, like bears, like that really old primitive sensory that I guess is still like deep within us. And then the paranormal explanation is demons, which I think is far more interesting than psychological. Okay, I'm sleeping in a new place. I think that's way more interesting.
Yeah.
But some of the things I've experienced, I was laying in bed one night, and I was laying on my side, and something kissed me on my cheek, and then whispered "shh" into my ear, like "shh," and I thought it was my mom, like coming in to like give me a kiss goodnight, and I turned over and there was nothing there, and I was like, well, that's weird. And then I turned back to go to bed, and as soon as I turned back to go to sleep, my body shut down, and I couldn't move, and it felt like something was like shaking me, like something was grabbing me and shaking me, and I could hear like very deep vibrations in my head, like whoa, 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 whoa. And I didn't know what the heck was going on, so eventually like I snapped out of it, and as soon as I snapped out of it, I jumped out of my bed, like almost ripped the door off my hinges, and ran downstairs to my parents. And as soon as I came down the steps, they looked at me and they're like, "You okay? You look like you saw a ghost." And I was like, "Well, I don't know, maybe."
Yeah, and then you did one of these, and the credits rolled.
Yeah,
just shrug your shoulders.
But and then another time I was laying in bed, another sleep paralysis. I've had it multiple times, but these are like the most two interesting stories. I was laying in my bed, and I could feel the bed sink in on like around me, like somebody was jumping into bed with me. So like I was laying in bed, I could feel the bed sink in almost as somebody was climbing onto the bed. And they came over top of me and they were breathing into my ear, and in a real deep voice they said, "Listen to me." Like real deep like that. And I was like, I could barely move my lips, but I remember I was trying to say like what do you want? And then as soon as I like asked it what it wanted, it just like kept breathing heavy and then slowly faded away. And it was the weirdest thing ever. And like, oh man, that's just, I know there's like logical explanations for it, but at the time it felt weird.
Maybe it did say something you weren't listening.
Maybe I didn't hear it the first time and it was really trying to get its point across.
I would, if I ever got like possessed or had like a sleep paralysis thing, I feel like it would end up being like Ghostbusters with that ghost that gives Dan Aykroyd a blowjob.
Oh God, yeah.
Or maybe if I'm lucky and like I get the ghost lottery, it'll be Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. Oh yeah. Man, how come like
if I just had some big guy just screaming in my bedroom, I'd be like, well, this is gonna be one of those days.
Oh man, I would love for a celebrity ghost to haunt me.
That would be so cool.
Unless it was like a really weird celebrity.
Yeah, or one that I like didn't recognize, because then like
it would just be a regular ghost.
Yeah, and then it'd be super awkward.
Yeah, and then you would describe it to somebody, and they'd be like, "Yo, you had so and so haunt you."
Yeah, you're like, "Really? You don't recognize me?" I'm like, "I'm really sorry."
I get insulted.
This isn't what you want in the afterlife, I'm certain, but I'm sorry. I'll look it up tomorrow if you want to come back.
But yeah, thank you to the H3 podcast for inspiring that segment, because ghost stories are always fun. So. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to address the elephant in the room because I'm pretty much copying off them, but I think it's a great concept, and I can't wait till we get some guests on the show and we can hear some of their stories too.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, because Aiden has a sleep paralysis story. I think I got most of it, but he could go in detail.
Yeah, I'm sure there's at least one or two things we're missing from that.
Yeah, and then I can bring in the feminist book. So we have some things.
Yeah, we have some things that'll be, kind of like a sequel to this podcast. So right now, the plan for this podcast is we're going to be uploading every Friday night at 6 p.m. on YouTube. So make sure to check us out there, watch us. And if you don't feel like looking at our ugly faces, or at least at my ugly face, Tyler's a handsome guy.
What?
But if you can't stand my face, you can listen to us on SoundCloud.
You can stand on my face.
You can stand on Tyler's face while listening to us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/greatnightpodcast. And just give us a listen. Put your headphones in. You don't got to look at us. God bless you if you are looking at us. Thank you so much. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Great Night Pod to stay up to date with, if we have a reschedule for a podcast or we're missing something one week. And you'll also be able to hop on our Instagram page and check out Tyler's tattoos and all that fun stuff that we talked about during this episode. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Do you have anything else you want to say, Tyler?
I'm gonna go ahead and say I know I do rub my nose a lot. My nose kind of does a weird thing. It's like allergies and stuff like that. So I'm not on drugs. I'm gonna clarify.
Well, okay.
My nose does do some weird stuff. I'm gonna rub it a lot every podcast, and I don't plan on stopping. I do take allergy pills for it.
I'm gonna put next time you come to the podcast, I'm just gonna dump a bunch of powder right around here. So
just put it right under here.
Well, if we're talking about that kind of stuff, I'm also very sweaty. I don't know if you can tell that. I sweat a lot. Yeah. And these lights aren't helping. So maybe next podcast you'll get some ambient sounds of my windows open. Who knows?
Yeah, I do a flannel so nobody will ever know. That'll be my little secret.
I probably shouldn't wear gray next time.
Yeah, that was a mistake if you sweat a lot.
Yeah.
You're just emphasizing your weaknesses on the pilot.
But this has been a fun podcast. Thank you for joining us.
I haven't had any fun.
You haven't had any fun? That's a shame. All right. Well, Tyler won't be joining us next week. But I'll be here with somebody. No. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, don't have a good night.
Have a great night.
Have a great night.
Hello.
That's going to be our thing that we say at the end. Have a great night, because it's a Great Night podcast.
Yeah, I'm really glad I remembered that line. Spaghetti.
All right. Thank you.